you know, this country of ours, Canada, has a lot of celebrated writers, and one of the names that's right near the top of that list is Margaret Atwood.
I had decided early on in life that I was going to be a writer, and I did not falter.
Margaret, as a girl, spent part of every year isolated in the wilds of northern Quebec. That's because the father was a scientist who studied insects in the forest. Now, she's a precocious kid. Margaret started writing at 5. In university, she self-published her first book of poems and actually won her first Governor General's Award in her 20s.
My body is a deadly gadget. I reach out in love, my hands are guns.
Margaret is best known for her novels like Surfacing, The Handmaid's Tale, and Oryx and Crake, but she's also written essays, satire, kids' books, operas, and cartoons.
Winner, Margaret Atwood.
Margaret has won almost every major literary award under the sun. She's actually even been immortalized as a Muppet.
Today I'm going to read my new story called The Milkmaid's Tale.
For nearly 40 years, Margaret has been a highly influential voice in the debate over gender, censorship, and our Canadian identity.
People think that they can beat up on supposedly powerless smaller groups. Makes me angry. Makes me sick.
Fiercely intelligent with a quick wit, she's also built a reputation as a bit of a tough customer.
Life isn't fair. Why should I be?
But nobody saw this one coming. In her latest book, Margaret tackles the subject of debt. But it's not a dry economics lesson. It's a wide-ranging examination of our buy now, pay later mentality, and her timing couldn't have been better. She started working on this back in '05 when everybody was living high off the hog, and it hit stores just weeks after the financial crisis kicked in last fall. It's called Payback: Debt and the Shadow Side of Wealth. Please welcome Margaret Atwood. How are you?
Very good.
Good? You just flew in from Hong Kong. How were your travels?
My travels were very, very interesting.
Were they?
Yes.
What did you learn?
Well, that's a long story, but one of the funnest things I did was I got a tour of a video games lab called Play Lab.
Awesome.
It was, I saw them making those running dinosaurs right before my very eyes. And I got to put on a headset for a new thing they're developing called Mind Dolls. And you get a little, it creates a little thing that's supposed to be you on the screen. You can make it jump up and down or relax and smile by how you think. And then you can get it to do a tug of war, mild, medium, and hard. I won mild.
How did you do in media, Margaret?
I didn't. Well, my story is the batteries were down on the headset.
Right, right. And who's going to question you? You're Margaret Atwood. They're going to be like, they must be down, right?
Well, they told me the batteries were down.
Wow. Well, you think of where they started with Pong and how they ended up with Wii, that in 5 years that will be incredible.
What they're doing is quite astonishing, but they're interested in doing meaningful games. So this particular one is supposed to help kids with attention deficit disorder concentrate better. So
we're all going to have to go into debt to buy those, aren't we?
Well,
how did you come to the book? Is it debt is the new fat? Is that?
How did I come to it? Well, I came to it a little while ago because you have to plan these massy lectures a little far in advance, but partly from watching the ads on the subway, which I took to get within shooting distance of here. And I started seeing a lot of debt ads instead of the ads I saw as a child, which were about female undergarments. We don't seem to...
There used to be a lot of girdle ads, didn't they?
A lot of girdle ads.
Yeah.
They went away. Now we have some lingerie ads, but
right.
A lot of debt ads. So I thought if there are so many ads saying we will help you get out of debt, there must be a lot of debt. So part of my interest came from that. I saw one today. It was a bunch of shopping bags, you've probably seen it, with somebody holding them, and it says, oops, I did it again. As if, like, I had a second cup of coffee or something. But it's more serious than that.
Well, it has, I mean, it's not even new, but the idea of a lack of personal accountability. We do live in the culture of...
We did.
Yeah. Well, I guess
maybe
it's coming home to roost now, right?
You've just seen a big sea change take place in our attitudes, in the economy, and in our whole view of our happy-go-lucky past 10 years. And we've also seen a new emphasis on getting the rules fair again, on holding people to account, especially people who got us into this by selling toxic debt and untraceable debts. And I think everything has just changed quite a lot, and it'll be a while before it changes back.
Certainly there's an assumption of real hopefulness if we think that they will make it better this time.
Well, you know, things level out. We've seen bubbles burst before. Things level out, you find the ground, and then people rebuild. But this time, let's hope they rebuild in a way that's fairer, because one of the things that went wrong this time, and it's what I talk about in my book, which is about balance and fairness as the essentials if you're going to have any debt credit situation at all. Maybe they'll get the rules right this time. What happened was they took the lid off the cookie jar and people took the cookies.
They took the crumbs. All right, stick around. When we come back...
we got the crumbs.
Yeah, we did
They got the cookies.
I figured we just had the bottle broken over our head, but that's all right. When we come back, we're going to play the weather game with Margaret. What's the weather game? You'll find out. More with Margaret Atwood after this. What do you do when the people you entrust to enforce, create the laws, are the ones that betray you mega big time?
That's called corruption, George. And it's not a pretty sight.
No, it's not.